Well, this is awesome. I am here at Idaho State University, and I am super, super blessed and excited to be surrounded by three amazing people, salespeople, marketing professionals, and most importantly, people that are dedicating their lives to investing in the next generation of sales and business professionals. So, Don, John, and Sean.
It's been a full day over there, Paul. It's been a full day.
Don, John, and Shane. It's so good to have you.
It's good to be here, my friend. Good to be here.
My gosh. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about what's happened today, Shane. Because this was just a fantastic event.
Well, so hello everybody. I'm Shane Hunt. I'm the Dean of the College of Business and the Michael C. Rutgers Professor of Marketing here at Idaho State University. And I always will start by saying, when they hear my accent, you might be able to tell I'm not from Idaho originally. So we've been here 3 years, and it's an amazing place. And Paul, we are so thankful for you, because today was one of the best days in the history of the Idaho State University College of Business. We dedicated and did the ribbon cutting for our brand new Walter Brown Center for Sales Excellence, the only named sales center in the state of Idaho that is going to be instrumental in training the next generations of great sales professionals, both here in Idaho and throughout the world.
That's fantastic. It was such a great day. It started with being a part of a sales contest that we had 38 people participating in. Absolutely fantastic. And John, you're the one that started that.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Ney. I'm a marketing professor here at Idaho State University. Yes, we started this, like 4 years ago.
With the dream.
This is our fourth annual. We weren't sure. Don went to the first one. He wasn't very impressed. I remember that. And we were like, but every semester the students get better and better. And today we just had a phenomenal, fun day, and we're able to give over $4,000 to students on, for scholarships or really whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And Don, you're in here as a sales veteran, right? So I'm going to give you the honor. You got to define sales for me. We're all in here talking about sales. And
well, gee, thanks.
Yeah, we're all in here talking about sales.
It's the hard test question.
You get the hard test question.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm Don Zebe. I'm the chairperson for the College of Business Sales Center. Met Shane here. I was on the team that interviewed Shane when he was coming here as a dean, and there was no way that we were going to hire anybody else but Shane. He was the bomb, the best of the best. And Shane asked me to head up this thing and work with John and the team, and now we're launching. We've had some great success. We graduated four. First four students to get the sales certificate. We're working on 18 for the next graduating class of sales certificates, and we're going to continue to go there. We offer in the private sector as well. So to define sales.
Yeah, what are you teaching these kids? Come on now. What are you for Centers for Sales Excellence? What is sales?
We are teaching kids to really understand themselves, right? Become self-aware. And to be able to ask questions and communicate, not via texting or through the phone, but to be aware, to be able to ask questions in the right sequence, in the right time, and in the right manner. And asking questions is the way you sell, right? It's you don't go in there and try to bully somebody and try to get them to do something wrong. You really go in there to find their need. And when you find their needs, you try to solve it. And you solve it in a way where they decide themselves that that's what they need. So it's I almost want to call it somewhat of gentle persuasion. But it's not. You're not trying to persuade anybody to do anything. You're helping them recognize the things that they need, and then they will make the decision. So sales is an art. It's a science, and it is the funnest thing you could ever do. Because you're changing lives. Absolutely. You're really changing a lot of lives. I was just visiting with Michael Rutgers, who donated all the money for our sales center here. And he was the ex-chairman, CEO of EMC, a software company. And
small little country.
And a graduate of Idaho State. And I walked up to him and I said, we met like 30 years ago. And he says, no. And I said, yeah, when I was at a company called Oracle.
Also small operation.
Right?
You might have heard of it.
Yeah, I was a VP of sales, and I started a division in the process manufacturing software. And one of the clients we were trying to work with was using the EMC database. And he said, I don't remember that. He says, but how did it go? And I says, well, we ended up using the EMC database. We didn't convert them to the I-9 of Oracle. And he said, well, that was good. So we had a connection. And he just lit up because it was something that we did that was so personal to him.
Yeah.
And made him feel like, I'm really doing the right thing. And the students that we have are phenomenal.
Yeah.
These students, I use the term, we are getting our students ready to go from the classroom to the boardroom. This is real life stuff that they're learning. It's not the stuff that's written in a book. It's real life role playing, real life what sales is about. How do you communicate? How do you bond? How do you do the things that they need to do to be successful? Our students, I would match against, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I would match any of our students that graduate to go to any company in the United States or in the world for that matter. Companies will be 18 months ahead of anybody else they hire out of college that they're going to have to train. Our students will be ready.
Yep, I agree.
Well, and I think one of the big things about that and why your students are going to be ready is a part of your definition. So part of your definition is what you said at the beginning was we're helping make our students aware. Yeah. And a big part of that to me is you are helping them become self-leaders, right? Yes. So self-leaders and then leaders. Yep. You have to lead self before you can lead any other, right? And we all know that sales, a big part of sales is that. It's leadership, it's service, and it's finding that path. So John, tell me a little bit about that. Tell me how, when working with students, how do you help them form the leadership habits that they need to lead themselves and others and do that in the classroom?
That's such a great question. A couple of things that we do is we use the DISC profile, right? And we also really measure emotional intelligence. And I just love that because, you can't change your IQ, right? But you can change your EQ. You can learn to listen better, right? You can learn those soft skills. You can learn those things that are so necessary. If you want to be a servant leader, you have to be able to listen, right? And so just by helping with those soft skills, and when we talk to businesses, every time we have a career fair or they come guest speak, I always ask, what do you need from our students? And they always say soft skills. John, they've got to be able to listen. They've got to be able to communicate. They have to be able to write orally. They have to be able to write, in writing.
Write orally.
Write orally.
ChatGPT.
That's what it does. That's what it does. That's
Hey,
the future.
ChatGPT, tell me a little bit more.
Exactly. Oral and written communication. But those are the things we really focus on, right? And by, like Don said, that's part of becoming self-aware because they take that profile, but it literally spits out like a 70, 80 page report about themselves. And when you understand yourself, I know this is, Don and I've had this, between us, is like the different types of our personalities and how we work together. And that's what business is about, is solving those problems and being able to help people achieve, success.
Well, and Shane, you were talking about a quote that actually you heard Don say, but you were talking about it. Why don't you share that a little bit? Because I think you're in the middle of witnessing how this happens and happens with your students.
Yeah, so Don had a quote when he taught his first class, when we kind of launched this and said, okay, we're going to teach an advanced class and Don's going to teach that. And he sent me his syllabus to look at, right? So first time teaching a full semester course. And I remember the quote that he said, and I've heard him say it since then, sales changes lives. And it does. And I think when you see the opportunities that the students that come out of Don and John and Kent's classes, out of our sales program, when you see the opportunities, when I have students telling me that they're going into that and they're making more than anybody in their family's ever made because they came through our sales program, sales changes lives. And that's the business that we want to be in. And I think no matter what you do, we've had students leave our program to go into nonprofits and go in for fundraising where they helped raise money to, raise awareness about cancer or to make something better or to find help for needy populations or for homeless or for any number of things. And sales change lives there. When you think about what it is here today that we gave out a record number of scholarships to the Idaho State University College of Business, that's because we've got an amazing development director who sells alums and donors on the idea that your dollars can change lives. Yeah. So when Don says that quote, in every fiber of who I am, I have seen that. And today was a manifestation of that, because those students that will get to learn in that amazing space and get to be part of this sales program, the trajectory of their lives and the trajectory of generations of their family after that will be forever better because of what we did today with the Walter Brown Center for Sales Excellence.
Amen.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm gonna switch topics a little bit, and I'm gonna go over here to Don, because I think one of the things that I think is really, really important about that is sales changing lives and sales changing companies. I'm in the market every single day with with companies that are trying to get better, and I've noticed that there's 3 areas that companies that are surviving today are really focusing on across the board, and it's talent, training, and technology. And specifically, when I talk about sales, it's talent. Is how do I find and invest in the best talent out there, not to turn them over, right? Not to turn them over and to give them a job they don't like, but to invest in them and keep them. Training is what they need to do, sales methodologies, and keep them working and keep them going. And technology are the things that enable you to tie that together, to give salespeople the technology that actually helps them do their job more effectively, not just sends another million emails, right? Or not just gives them their content, but actually helps them. So, Don, you've been actually actively using, one of the things about that, you've been actively using Membrane as a part of the classwork and a part of how you teach. Can you talk a little bit about that technology aspect that you're teaching the students today that's going to drive behaviors in the future?
Well, a great question, and I'm really glad you brought that up, because the technology of Membrane and the things that we teach allow professionals, and I'm going to call our students professionals, because they're going to be world class, guaranteed. I mean, I was talking to one today, Zane, past student body president. Great guy. But anyway, I digress. The opportunity to teach them and having be able to functionally use Membrane to be able to track a process, to be able to look back and be able to see where they are in the process and the methodology, because the methodology is tracked as well, and to make sure that they hit every step of the sales process, that they didn't miss something. And so that when we go back and do a debrief as a manager or leader, you can go, all right, what happened here? What happened there? Oh, I forgot that one. Well, why did you forget it? What would have happened? And there's no other way to track it. When I was talking to Mike Rudiger earlier about it was interesting, because he said they used to do his on an Excel spreadsheet when he was at MC. And I said, me too. Yeah. There was nothing out there. Yeah. There was nothing there to be able to track it. And we lost more sales because we didn't have all the data and all the details that we needed, especially about who all the players are in the organization, who are our white knights, who are our black knights, and being able to look at that and be able to train those students to that. So when they walk out of our classes and they walk into the business world, they're going to go, oh my gosh. As a perfect example, we had one graduate student by the name of Riley Johnson, got Riley a job when he graduated. He just got hired and beat everybody out at this new company in the East. Did better than anybody else in the interview. One, because we helped him learn how to interview right. And the other thing is he had the technology background that we taught him here at Idaho State University. The people that he was interviewing against had zero experience in it. We're not taught in it. They didn't know. And they said, we're hiring Riley because he knows this stuff, and we don't want to take time to train that person to figure it out. It became part of Riley's everyday life. And that's what sales is all about, right? Yeah. It becomes part of your life, that you can look at it and know, hey, I'm waking up. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to input. And I can track my sales and I can rest. The greatest thing about having CRM and that kind of technology, you've got more time on your hands to prospect more, right? Instead of writing that stuff down. Exactly. So that's the beauty of it, right? Yeah. And we are blessed here at Idaho State. Paul, thank you so much for donating your time and your talents and your software to our students so that they can be ready for that next step in their career. Yeah.
Can I add to that question?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so one of the things that we did too with this semester is we pretended that we were selling Membrane, because we figured what better way to have to learn it than if you have to sell it, right? And you came on and you were on the screen and told us about it, and then we developed role plays. Right, and we did all kinds of different industries, and then we'd have a group of 3. One was the buyer, one was the seller, one was the observer. And they would sell membrane to somebody in a different industry. And so that was really a fun thing for us.
Well, I'm just coming out of a conference. One of our great partners is Objective Management Group, and I know you also use them here.
Yeah.
But 100 of the top sales consultants in the world all gathered there, and you know what they're doing? They're role playing.
Yep.
They're doing that exact same thing. They're putting in the time, the effort, the practice. And to do that early on in a career, even before the career begins, and to get used to that, it's culture building. It's when they go into companies, they should be able to truly impact and say, okay, hey, let's role play. Let's do this. Let's do this. Where's my practice? They should, and salespeople coming into the market should expect that. They should expect, give me a spot to practice my craft that I'm great at. And you guys doing that with them is absolutely fantastic.
It's really fun. And you saw that today in the sales contest, right? And so the first 8 weeks of the class, we go through the book, right? And we go through the basics, and how to sell. We use baseline selling. And then, and we use Shane's book, right? And then the next 8 weeks is all role play, right? Because they have to get used to it. And they've, so if they've done the role play with membrane, now they get to create their own role play for the sales contest, and so it's really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I am going to I'm going to ask for Shane.
Yes.
If you could do me a favor, and I think sales is built on stories.
Yep.
And so I'm really honored to be here as a part of this kickoff, and Membrane is incredibly honored to support this, and we truly believe in elevating the sales profession and the next generation, and investing in the next generation of salespeople. I would love, I don't care if it comes out of the sales, tell somebody the best story about you investing in a student at Idaho State University and the outcomes that has come, and the life-changing outcome because of that.
Oh my goodness, I can tell all kinds of stories on what there is, and it's so many people across, and I want to echo what John and Don sent Paul, what you are doing to provide us with membrane and the sales enablement technology that, as Don said, is changing the trajectory of our kids' careers.
Yeah.
We're thankful for you. We're not here without corporate partners, and no one has done more to support us and help us than you. And so please let everyone at Membrane know how much we appreciate them. There are countless stories of what you will see. I think about a story of one of our students who came in, and they were actually worked for campus security. So I was here. I came here to be a professor and dean of a business school in Arkansas. And so when I moved here during COVID, the DMV was open like 1 hour a week, right, or something. So I didn't get my new plate for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I don't have my new plate, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm in trouble. And one day I walk out to my car, and I'm getting in, and the campus police officer comes around the other side of me, and I thought, here it is. My Arkansas plate's got me in trouble. Guy pulls around, he goes, "Are you Shane Hunt?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you the dean of the College of Business?" And I said, "Yes." And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, he's going to say, "Well, then if you're the dean of the College of Business, you get an Idaho plate on your car." But he says, "I want to introduce myself," and he did. And he told me the story. He said, "I went to college right out of high school." He said, "I wasn't serious. I wasn't prepared, and I dropped out." And he said, "I went to work for the jail, and I did that. And I was working at the jail." And he said, "I met a girl, and she became my wife. And then they had a little girl, had a daughter." And he said, "I don't want to spend the rest of my life working at the jail." And he said, "I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought, somebody said business was a good idea." And he came here. He talked to one of our advisors, Tara. And he's like, "I don't know what my credits are. My GPA's bad from like 7 years ago. I don't know how that works." And she walked him through every step of the process. He had amazing professors like John and Don. And on the other side, he got a job. And he said, "I'm making more money than anyone in my family's ever made. And the life that we have with our daughter is forever better because of Idaho State." And it's difficult, Paul, when you ask that question, because I could tell a story like that every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And what I would say is such a partnership here, and this is why it is for sales. We are not holding up our end of the responsibility if we are not preparing students to go out and be successful in their careers. We are not doing our due diligence or our duty to say, hey, take these classes, do this stuff, but then whatever happens after that, that's on you.
Yeah.
What Don and John, what our sales program is doing, what we're trying to do across the entire College of Business is prepare students for that so that what Don said, they're 18 months ahead. They hit the ground running and they're able to do that. And I would just say this, I'm a first generation college student. And I tell a story all the time that I got to go to college because my mom and dad sacrificed for me. And because of the professors that I had, my son and daughter have opportunities my mom and dad couldn't have imagined. And what changed that was professors who invested in them. So when you talk about Riley, when you talk about John and I just talked to at the event today, a guy that started a company, took John's sales class, started a company, got into entrepreneurship, now has the best moving company in Eastern Idaho. Started from nothing and made something because professors here are investing in them and helping them have better lives.
Well, I have to say, and what I saw today in that sales contest is you're helping them take the theoretical and turn it real, right?
Yeah.
You're taking it beyond learning and into training and practice. So you are all to be incredibly commended for that. I know Idaho is going to have a next generation of salespeople that's going to be leading the U.S. and around the world. And thank you so much for being on the Art and Science of Complex Sales.
Thank you, Paul.
You guys come back someday?
We will, absolutely.
Anytime you want.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll close it out.
Thank you.
Good.
Perfect, Paul.
That was fun.
Thank you.